1,000 tariffs. Did you know that? As Randy was pointing out in my discussion with him, it's not that we embrace free market capitalism. Dr. Mark Perry, professor of economics, I believe he works at AEI now, he pointed this out a few years back. Most Americans think of the U.S. as a free trade country with open markets, and countries like China and Japan as protectionist countries with closed markets, and yet the United States is quite protectionist. When we consider that there are more than 12,000 tariffs, that is taxes, on imported products that are sometimes as high as 350% in the case of tobacco, 164% in the case of peanuts, 100% on jam, chocolate, and ham, 48% on sneakers. Over 12,000 tariffs. I want you to remember this. I'm a free trader, but I want fair trade. That's the phrase. So I said, as I said in the last segment, are we going to surrender our 12,000 tariffs in exchange for other people surrendering their tariffs? Now, you know the answer is no. So let's go over some of these examples, just 25 examples where they're big tariffs. Dairy products, 20% tariff on imports. Most vegetables, a 20% tariff on imports. Asparagus and sweet corn in particular, 21.3% tariff. Corsets and gloves, 23.5% tariff. Wool clothing, 25% tariff. Most auto parts, 25% tariff. Commercial plateware, 28% tariff. Synthetic outerwear, over 28% tariff. Apricots, cantaloupes, and dates, 29.8% tariff. Garlic or onion powder, 29.8% tariff. Clothes made of synthetic fabric, 32% tariff. Brooms, 32% tariff. Canned tuna, 35% tariff. When I say tariff, it's a tax that we impose. Chinese tires, 35% tariff. Leather shoes, 37.5% tariff. Decorative glassware, 38% tariff. Leather from Japan, 40% tariff. Sneakers, 48% tariff. Many ship parts for ships, 50% tariff. European meats and truffles and some cheeses, 100% tariff. French jam, chocolate, ham, 100% tariff. Shelled peanuts, 131.8% tariff. Unshelled peanuts, 163.8% tariff. Tobacco, 350% tariff, and on and on. We have tariffs on other things, too, on mushrooms, on sugar. I can go on and on, but you can look them up yourself. Over 12,000 tariffs. Many of them stuck in legislation in these omnibus bills passed by Congress. Some congressman or senator trying to protect a, quote-unquote, protect some business in their own community. And these other countries react. It's not like we have clean hands as a government. I've said this over and over and over again. If we want fair trade, quote-unquote, what's required is that the centralized, all-powerful, iron-fisted government in Washington, D.C. call off the hounds. That is, one agency after another, one department after another, who have as their purpose to kill the industrial heartland of America and enterprise and assembly lines and jobs. Because they believe in degrowth, deindustrialization. These are their words, out of their mouths, in their documents. It's not Japan and China and Mexico, even though China is an enemy, and we ought to be very clear about that. And our export control regime ought to be in place, if not increased. Not as a result of trade, as a result of national security. And they may be particular industries that are absolutely essential to the national security of this country that are under attack by our enemies. But as a general matter, it's not free trade that's costing us jobs. We have over 12,000 tariffs. As a general matter, it's not foreign countries costing us our jobs. It's our own country. These jerks in Washington, D.C. Mexico doesn't have to deal with Obamacare or Dodd-Frank or 1,000 other regulations that we put on our own businesses, employers, and employees. We're killing ourselves. It's domestic suicide. It's why I reject all this propaganda. Herbert Hoover type propaganda with the tariffs and the protectionism and so forth. What we need to do is unleash our economy. Unleash the American people. Unleash American enterprise. Unleash American productivity. And we have to do that ourselves. We have to do it with the departments and agencies. Put them back in their boxes where they belong. Slash their budgets. Slash their staff. Slash their power. That's what we need to do. That's how you create American jobs. I'll be right back. Let's take one more step in our learning process here. I'll be the one who stands up to the protectionists and tariff advancers and promoters, tariff advocates. What's a tariff? It's a tax on a good. For instance, consumer goods. For instance, vegetables, sneakers, clothing. Who pays it? You pay it. So you pay the tariff. Well, 45% tariff on X, Y, Z. Well, that's a tax on you. Well, where's the money go? It goes to the federal government. You see my point? The point is this is a huge tax placed on products that you buy. Products you buy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be exported from these countries into this country. And it's a huge tax you pay, and it goes into the federal government's coffers. Now, who do these taxes, that is tariffs, who do they hurt the most when you're taxing vegetables and whatever else you're taxing? Obviously, those who have the least amount of money. The middle class, the lower middle class, even the poor. When you're taxing a can of tuna or peanuts or cigarettes or shoes and sneakers and clothing and automobile parts and so forth and so on at such high levels, who do you think's paying a bigger percentage of their income on these things? You are. What the hell is this populism crap when in fact it's not populism at all, it's progressivism. Liberals love high tariffs. They love them because it's big taxes. And they're dressed up as helping the working men and women of the country. And saving American industries. Not saving anything. They make you poorer. They make you pay more for asparagus, for peanuts, for clothing. They don't improve your situation. The way you improve your situation is to unleash the American economy, not tax the American people with a tariff. They make it sound like they're going after China. Hey, we're going to put 45% tariff on goods that come from China. No, that is a 45% tax on Americans who buy these goods. And then the government takes the money. Now, how is that going to improve anything? On top of that, a lot of these countries, well, I gave you the example of Japan. There's a lot less Japanese than there are Americans, but even more. If Americans want to buy more Japanese cars, then Japanese want to buy American cars. Oh, that creates a trade deficit. Okay, so what if there's a trade deficit? What are we supposed to do about it? A car for a car? You can't force people to buy something. Well, Mark, it's unfair because they're putting tariffs on our goods. We're putting tariffs on their goods. I just told you we have over 12,000 tariffs. Over 12,000 tariffs. Now, you won't hear the protectionists in our country talk about that. It hasn't come up in a single debate. And it's not going to, because there are no more debates. Because Donald Trump has deigned that there will be no more debates. Now that we're down to 2.5 candidates, he doesn't want to debate all of a sudden. Why? I want them to debate tariffs. I want them to debate trade and commerce. I want them to debate taxing Americans, the middle class, the working people in this country, with 45% taxes that go to the federal Leviathan, as if that's going to fix something. Let's have the debate. Well, we can't have the debate. Why? There's no more debate. Folks, don't be sucked in by these people. You're furious with the federal government, and I don't blame you. I have been and I am. But then don't turn on yourself. Don't insist on candidates and policies that are going to destroy your way of life. That's absurd. Don't insist on candidates and policies that are going to attack your individual liberty and what's left of the Constitution and attack the greatest economic system on the face of the earth. You know, this war on poverty, I've been giving this some thought. War on poverty. It's not a war on poverty. It's a war on liberty. It's a war on capitalism. That's what it is. The entire left agenda. It's an attack on our economic system and our way of life. So rather than attacking our economic system and way of life, rather than promoting policies that would address the so-called root causes of the problem, they have an agenda. And that's what Obama calls the fundamental transformation of America, meaning destroy the nation that we have. And he's done a hell of a good job at it.